Hello and welcome to the Stellar Monarchs preview show. Myself, Graham Munsey, joined by Dave Harley. As for one last time, we look ahead to the action to come at Armadale this weekend and a season finale playoff match against the Poole Pirates. Dave, unfortunately, the playoff run was reasonably short, sharp, and definitely no sweet, but there's still one more match for everyone to enjoy, and couldn't it be much tougher? The reigning League and Cup champions and a team looking to make it through in the bounce.
Yeah, as you say, unfortunately, it didn't quite go as planned last weekend in the first two matches of the playoff, and ultimately we're being the sixth best team in the league this year, and that's the way it's shown. It's beating the three teams below us and home and away. The five above us have beaten us home and away. I think we managed one draw or something like that all season, so we've got one last opportunity to beat one of the top five teams in the league at home this Friday. And as you say, it'd be a big one if we could manage to tumble over the reigning champions and probably back again favourites for the title, I'd imagine.
Yep, will be indeed. A little bit different tonight in that you're just stuck with me and Dave. Obviously, Monarchs riders have all graced us at minimum of twice each over the season, so we thank them for that. But we want to go, we thought we'd maybe change it up a little bit tonight, have a wee bit of a retrospective over the last few weeks. So we'll have the best of the action. I think we've got, 4-5 heats lined up and a couple of interviews. It was one interview kind of that was reaction to matches there, various reasons, availability, etc., etc. We've maybe struggled a little bit with the Friday focuses the last few weeks, so we'll do that. But that doesn't mean we don't want to see and hear your comments. So any questions you've got for Dave or I, or any comments in general about Friday, about the season as a whole, I'll remind everyone we go out before 9 p.m. When they're asking those ones or putting those ones on. Feel free to get them in. But Dave, I guess first and foremost, we can just run straight into the teams for Friday night. That's normally where we would start. So similar, in fact, exactly the same for last week for the Monarchs. It's Justin Sedgman that steps in for Craig Cook. And the rest, as you were, Lassie Fredrickson, Guy Thompson, Paco Castagna, Josh Pickering, Dale Wood, and Bastian Borka. So I think it's fair to say there'll be a couple in there that will be looking for better than maybe the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have the same team 2 weeks in a row. That possibly about, we can't have said that too many times this season, unfortunately. But a couple of them, there was some highlights last week. Kai was pretty decent all the way through, and Paco finished with 2 good wins. But I'm sure a couple of others that would prefer to pick up some good points, and they know they're better than the score was last Saturday night. So it's always interesting, a Saturday match at Armadale, and it never really seems to work out for us. Unfortunately, that was the same again last week. But as we say, a chance to go again, one last time, bit of pride at stake to show what they're capable of. And of course, all riders are putting themselves in the window for next season.
Yep, that's it. As you say, one last go round, as it were, for the Monarchs this year. Friday night, 7:30. As always, your ticket link is edinburghmonarchs.co.uk/tickets. And I'll look at that. I've caught Dave out this week, finally. 13 weeks, or 13, 15, 16. How many goes with it this? And I finally caught you out. And then your stream, myself and Mike, will be up in the box, edinburghmonarchs.co.uk/EMTV. Dave, we've kind of looked at the Monarchs team there, and I think you're right. We all know what's required for them. Kai was excellent. I think obviously Heat 15 kind of overshadowed or put a dampener at the end of his night, but he'd only dropped 1 point up until that stage on Friday, so you'll be looking for another same. Josh was exciting as ever last week. There just wasn't a consistent backup. We saw Paco started slow and then came on like a steam train at the end. Sedgman probably the other way around. And then just a wee bit more required lower down the order. But, we've said it all season. There's no quit in this team. Yes, they've been beaten on occasion, but they'll give it their all on Friday night. And I guess we can just hope and only hope we go out on a high.
Yeah, that's the plan. It's got to be. Nothing else for it. I mean, it's been a tough season off track as well as on the track. Cancellations at the wrong time, abandonments for various reasons, and obviously the situation with Craig Cook is ultimately that's been our biggest challenge over the last month or two, finding a number one. Justin's tried his best. Again, we've failed tomorrow night. Unfortunately, Kyle Howard's pulled out of the away fixture, so we'll be riding a replacement at Poole tomorrow night. But it's been a really hard challenge for the promotion and team management, and we just haven't got there. But that's the last Friday of Speedway this season at Armadale, and hopefully we get a big crowd there to see the boys off and finish off the season in style, as you would say.
Yep, you mentioned that there, and we're always great supporters, all Speedway riders, but a few of them might just need to remember when they're picking up the phone and asking for clubs over the winter, who they've let down during the course of a season the year before. But we won't dwell on that. If we look at the Poole team for Friday, one change for Poole. Anders Rowe suffered a concussion at Scunthorpe on Friday, so that's a mandatory 9-day sit-out period for Anders, so rider replacement comes into operation. Zach Cook is the one above him, and then Kel Newman and Joe Thompson at reserve. I'm not going to say that weakens him any, considering Kel Newman raced to a maximum for reserve the last time he was at Armadale. So I don't think that makes too much difference to Poole's scoring power, Dave.
No, definitely not. I mean, they've been impressive visitors in the first six races in the meeting. It was Amanda, and of course when they came on that Wednesday night a few weeks ago, and Richard Lawson, of course, was a good help to us to get to the playoffs with a tremendous performance for the Monarchs against Plymouth and Birmingham that we might see a bit later on. And yeah, I mean, I was talking about Ryan Douglas being number one rider in the league last week. I'm perhaps doing Richard Lawson a disservice saying that, because it's difficult up there, and I'm sure Sam Masters will have something to say about that in the playoffs.
If you're talking purely from a stats point of view, Dave, you were right. If you want to,
yes.
We'll put the stats head on, and you can say factually you were correct, regardless of opinion. That was spot on. And just one thing to note, we can see the team manager there, Gary Havok. Sad to hear that Gary's mum passed away the other week, so we do send our condolences to Gary and the whole Havok family there. But Dave, what kind of looking back to Friday, and I guess why don't we go with the first of the heats we've got lined up? It was the last time Poole visited, and it was heat 11 from that match at Armadale.
So it's Richard Lawson coming from gate 1, Josh Pickering gate 2, Anders Rowe gate 3, and Mason Watson on gate 4. Gated that time. Where's he going to go? He's into second anyway. Going for a huge blast round the outside. Oh, what a ride. What a fantastic challenge by Josh Pickering. Absolutely tremendous effort there. But he's still in second. He's really throwing himself into this. Thundering up the straight, right on the tail of Richard Lawson. Which way is he going this time? It's another cutback. He's still a length or so down. Right around the outside and cut back. Lawson's really having to work here. Pickering's giving it everything. And again, just short of the end. Well, you feel he's worth 3 points there for that effort.
Yeah, Richard Lawson showing exactly what he's capable of. And of course, the Monarchs seen that for their benefit. A few weeks ago, Dave, the double-header against Plymouth and Birmingham. It was Richard Lawson that was the guest for Craig Cook, and he romped to 8 unbeaten rides before that was stopped. So I guess you mentioned that, he might want to argue he's number one in the league, and sometimes it is hard to go against that, particularly for a rider that for probably 5 to maybe even 10 years would have said he just couldn't get round Armadale properly. It just shows how good and how clever a rider he is, that as his career's progressed, he's got better and better, and now he's sometimes almost unbeatable.
Yeah, just as we saw in the clip there, and when Josh is in that kind of form, there's very few riders that manage to keep Josh behind, and especially later in meetings, Heat 11. We'll see Heat 11 from last week where Josh did beat Ryan Douglas, and it was, but yeah, there was no way around Richard, and he's developed and got better and better. He was in the final of the British final again this year. I mean, a great rider for Poole, as you say. They're coming up, if they can do it, it'll be 3 years in the spin for them in the championship, and he's been one of the main factors in that. So a tremendous rider for Poole. I'm looking forward to exciting races between him and Josh and Kai, Justin and Stevie Morrill on Friday night. It would be good to go out with some cracking racing as well.
Yep, that's it. As we say, last meeting of the season at Armadale, Friday night, 7:30. Tickets available at edinburghmonarchs.co.uk/tickets, and the stream is available at edinburghmonarchs.co.uk/EMTV. So, Dave, if we have a little look back over the past few weeks and review the action, obviously that was the last time Poole visited Armadale. They took the points on the night, but the big two matches that really got the Monarchs, or sealed the Monarchs' place in the playoffs, was that double-header, wasn't it? Was it 3 Fridays ago now, as we sit here on a Tuesday night putting this out? First up was Plymouth. Okay, they were a little bit undermanned, but the Monarchs boys were determined that night, and they really put them to the sword.
Yeah, they did. It was a tremendous victory, hitting 60 points against anyone. As you say, Plymouth were a wee bit depleted, but you as teams have probably said when they've faced us, you can only beat what's in front of you, and the Monarchs were excellent that night. Points all the way through the team. Some great scores. The clip we've got actually probably shows Plymouth more in a good light here with a tremendous Heat 14 and a battle between Luke Colleen and who was it again?
Hagan.
Hagan as well. So it was again just shows all the way through that meeting and some cracking racing. But yeah, a good one for the Monarchs that night.
That's it, yeah, Dave. And I think why don't we show our audience that one now?
Sam Hagan, Luke Colleen, and Ben Trigger come to the line. Colleen is away quite well if he can keep his bike on the ground, and a nice first turn takes him to the front. Sam Hagan challenging. Sam's getting right out in the dirt there. It's in with a chance. Bold bid by Hagan. Bold bid, here he comes. Rip roaring in there. If he can pull this one off, yes he has. Terrific ride by Sam Hagan. Best bit of riding tonight. And a great victory for Sam Hagan. Luke just held it a wee bit too tight there on that final lap, and what a super swoop round the outside by Sam Hagan.
Yeah, cracking ride there by young Sam, and it was a real shame that he crashed out in the Birmingham match and probably actually put paid to any chances they had. And that, Paco had been a wee bit annoyed with himself. I think he had 5 paid 8. He'd only been beaten once going into that race, and then he binned it in the first bend when he was technically up against 3 2-pointers. So he would have fancied his usual Heat 14 heroics, but as it was, we've seen an excellent race by Sam Hagan. course, as we mentioned, that was part of a double header that night. Birmingham followed after that, and by that point, with the Plymouth win, we knew as long as we took the bonus point, which was 18 points, it would won by Birmingham off the top of my head. So basically, as long as we avoided a 20-point defeat, we knew that place in the playoffs was ours. Birmingham kept it close. Sadly, there was a few incidents that meant the curfew came in. But Dave, the Monarchs done their job and completed, as you said, what just proved they were the best of the rest. Yeah, I don't think I've ever known a disparity like it between the top and bottom of the league. But, if the three teams below you, if you beat them home and away, they can't really complain that they should have been above the Monarchs in that playoff position.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Again, Birmingham, another team without their troubles to seek this year, and hopefully they'll continue next year as well. But they came to Armadale on that Friday night knowing, we've got a double header, so potential, lots of riders, lots of races, and anything can happen. And actually started the meeting quite well. We're 7-5 up after the first two races, but then we started to claw that back in the next race, and it's Heat 3 we've got lined up from that meeting. We'll just crack on and show that one now as well. I think, yeah, let's do it.
It's Troy Batchelor coming from gate 1. He certainly got double figures the other day in his home match. Paco Castagna rides from gate 2. Paul Stark, who's been at reserve for quite a bit of the time with the Brummies, he comes from gate 3. And Kai Thompson rides from gate 4. Batchelor and Thompson tussling for the lead, and Thompson a very strong entry to the bottom bend there. Who's coming out ahead? It's Thompson, Castagna and Thorpe. Castagna hoping to make an inside challenge, now moved to the outside. That didn't really pay off. Batchelor trying a very tight line. The guy's too quick for him. And it is a win for Thompson, and the scores are levelled up.
Yeah, I think that was the first time the Monarchs took the lead in that meeting, wasn't it? It was after Heat 3, a lead they wouldn't relinquish come meeting's end, and it was a final score of 38-34 after 11 heats, and that guaranteed, would that be after 12 heats? My maths there, after 12 heats, wasn't it? Too quick bit of maths, I was 72. After 12 heats, and that meant the Monarchs were in the playoffs. And Dave, we spoke about it all season, didn't we? That the playoffs were the aim, and you kind of just hoped that it was a reset button when you got to the playoffs. And in a way it is. Everyone starts on zero. But I guess, unfortunately, there's also a reason that other teams were first, second, third, fourth, and fifth and had won home and away against the Monarchs. And we just couldn't pick up any momentum or keep that momentum rolling.
Yeah, of course. As we always say, the title's never won in April, May, June, etc. You've got to get to the playoffs first. Then it's, as you say, you start again. Unfortunately, the guest rules then changed, which made getting a number one replacement for Craig Cook even harder, as you couldn't take any of the riders from the 5 teams above us. And no disrespect to Justin, who's tried his hardest in the 2 meetings, and I'm sure he will again on Friday. That was a bit of a killer for us. But
I think so.
Neglecting the comments here, Graham, because we've not got a rider for asking questions. We'll jump past that. I'll run through a few.
Yeah, we can go through those now. So I guess if we look at John Clements, he agrees with what we're saying there. Let's end the season with a bang. Ian Marshall, I think we've touched on that, haven't we? Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Glad to see the back of it, but still proud to be a Monarch. And I think it's maybe worth touching on something there, Dave. And I'll admit, I don't think I've ever been angrier leaving Armadale than I was last Friday. But
I can testify to that, yes.
Sometimes a little bit of perspective is maybe needed. And, I saw a few comments, and and everyone's entitled to opinion, but worst year in 35 years and worst year in 40 years. And if that is the case, then I guess that just shows the standards that have been set, because there's still 3 teams in the league that had a worse year than the Monarchs this year. So yeah, it's not been the year anyone wanted. No one's going to say it has, from management, riders, mechanics, top to bottom. 6th place, scraping into the playoffs, and then, without being too nasty, kind of been fodder once we got there for whatever reason. It is never where the Monarchs want to be, but I'm sure that we can rebuild, rebound, and move on from it.
No, definitely. As Ian said there, we're all proud to be Monarch supporters. I mean, we can't win the league every year as much as we'd love to, and we obviously had a fantastic few years. It's come almost 10 years ago now since that 2014. That'll be the 10th anniversary next year of that tremendous title win. But we're still got fantastic Speedway on Friday nights to look forward to, and yeah, no, I mean, if you look again, I don't know what Peter's talking about in terms of and before the spanner starts lacing.
That was a dig at the 15 to 20 comments, which we enjoy, so keep them coming.
The mechanics in there.
I was just going to say,
probably hit the nail on the head, especially last week. Getting out the gate. Josh is coming good by Friday and obviously last night as well. But yeah, getting out the gate, and Heat 15 was a massive example where we're just outgated. And the times of the Scunthorpe Riders last night were possibly about half a second slower than we would expect if our guys had got out in front. But you got to be in the lead, and you got to dominate races. But Martin, fair point.
Yeah, and I think so, Dave. And I think if you look at that Scunthorpe match from last week, it's tough because you've taken a beating. So it sometimes actually dulls the fact that entertainment-wise, you want your team to do well, but there was still some cracking racing there last Friday. I think Drew Kemp in Heat 8 went for last. Second, Simon Lambert went round the field and won. And then, of course, the heat that we're going to see, and we'll probably just play that now. Josh Pickering doing what Josh Pickering does.
Yeah, no, fantastic Heat 11. And as you say, let's just crack on. Let's not talk about it. Let's show it when I find the right button. Let's show it now.
So we have Ryan Douglas coming from gate 1 here. Josh Pickering is in gate 2. Connor Mountain gate 3. And Dale Wood out again in gate 4. Josh bouncing about from the start, and he's been outsmarted by both the visiting riders there. Lost out to Douglas initially. Now he's repassed Connor Mountain and he's chasing Douglas. Really heading for it. My goodness, that's tremendous. It's a bit risky that far out, surely. What an effort by Pickering. Cut back there, thundering down the straight. He's gone through. Will he get round this corner? Douglas cuts back. Pickering's got it. Superb riding by Josh Pickering. Well, that's sensational by the Monarchs captain. Something for the fans to be proud of.
Josh Pickering, second in white was Ryan Douglas, third in yellow Connor Mountain, Dale Wood in yellow at the back. Now you reiterate a mistake I made. I think I said Dale Wood in yellow at the back. I must have been talking about his Kevlars, not his helmet colour. That's what started in the season, wasn't it? His yellow Kevlars. But that was last Friday, probably what would have been our heat of the night. Sadly, it wasn't part of a winning effort, and that ended the Monarchs' chances of progressing in the playoffs. But still one more match to go, so we'll just say one more time, 7:30 on Friday at Armadale. Get yourself along. There's nothing too much else. There's no Northern Junior League again for Friday, but I would imagine there'll be the usual end-of-season interviews with the riders and management that are always worth listening to. And of course, as I say, one last chance. to see your Monarchs team in between that doubleheader. I think in between the doubleheader or rain off and then the Scunthorpe match. Of course, we had the last home match of the academy season, Dave. And I think if we're looking for positives through the club, yeah, I mean, the academy didn't have their troubles to seek either with injury. Alex Spooner, Kieran Lydon, Kyle Bickley stepping down, Jacob Hook, Adam Roynan, all had spells on the sidelines. Mickey Simpson, the fire starter, tried to set himself alight at Berwick. So it's not been an easy one, but I think I would agree with you. There's a comment there from Ryan Anderson. If there's been any positives for the club this season, it's been the development of the guys in the academy. So guys like Mickey Simpson, Dale Wood, Kieran pre-injury. I hope Kieran's watching. I washed the Monarchs t-shirt for the last one, especially for Kieran. And I've not had a comment. I got 400 messages from him watching the stream on Friday night. And now he can't even pop a message in when I put this on special. Brutal. But yeah, and even Mark Parker, of course, and a guy that's so new to the sport. But we saw it, he attacks the track and he had to be covering a couple of his heats. He wasn't gating sharp, but he was riding good lines to get past slower riders that were maybe a wee bit unpredictable in front of him. So that just showed how far he's come along. And I think Scott Wilson and everyone involved in the academy can be really proud of their efforts this year, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. And John Clements backing you up there, saying they deserve a lot of praise for the academy and Scott Wilson for getting the best out of them. And yeah, I mean, it's difficult when the matches come few and far between and they don't get a chance to have that run at home. I mean, the Monarchs haven't had that this season either, to be fair. But the academy have done well for that, and even in Scotland, we're hoping for. They've got that obviously match at Oxford tomorrow night, and hoping for that to go well. Then Scott finds out that the Monarchs get switched to the Wednesday night, and he misses Dale. So even though they're at Oxford on tomorrow night, there'll be no Dale Wood in the academy team because he's racing for the Monarchs at Poole. So Kai Wards will replace Dale, and Nathan Ablett's going to come in and replace Adam Roynan. So a decent team there, and a couple of reasonable replacements there. I'm not sure how the young lad will get on, but that's a tough ask for the academy at Oxford tomorrow. They are one of the teams that will be in the playoffs.
Yeah, you mentioned that there, and it just shows very much maybe similar to the Monarchs that it's the wrong men at the wrong time that are missing, isn't it? You never want to be missing anyone, but some people, due to averages or due to other rider availability and stuff, can be replaced easily. But Dale Wood's worth a lot more than a 4.3 average currently in that National League, so it will be tough. And a weird double duty tomorrow night. I'll need to do a bit of digging into how the website's going to deal with updates and how we're going to be doing with reviews, previews, reports, all that kind of stuff for tomorrow. But one last chance for the Stellar Monarchs Academy to end on a high. Max Clegg, as you'll see there, leading the team. And in that last home match against Malden Hall, he certainly led the team right out from Heat 1, Dave, which I think we'll see now. Yeah,
we'll go straight into that. No point me talking about it. Let's just watch it.
So we're into the opening race, and the first rider replacement is Mickey Simpson, as John told us. He's on the inside gate. Aaron Butcher rides from gate 2. He's a handy second string. Max Clegg in gate 3, and Alfie Bortel will come round for gate 4. I think you'd have to rate Alfie and Max as two of the very top, certainly two of the top 5 in this division. Alfie well away there from the outside, much quicker than Max. Max Clegg chasing, and Mickey Simpson well clear of Aaron Butcher for the point. Now what can Max Clegg do about this? He's looking threatening there. Very hard up the inside. Well, a superb effort by Max Clegg. He's gone inside Alfie Bortel and he's taken the lead. That was absolutely brilliant by Clegg. Well, you can hardly believe he's not got a championship berth when he can ride like that. Pulling away now. I can't believe that Alfie Bortel have been swept aside as easily as that in any of his other races this season. That was a tremendous effort by Clegg.
Yeah, Max Coig there, and a real big hitter at number 1, and has been a real boost to the academy since he came in. So that's kind of a review of all the action we've seen so far. Normally, before we wrap up, we'd ask our guests for any final comments. Today, I think we'll go to our watchers and just run through a few of the final comments on that, and then we'll say goodnight, and I'll get ready for a big night of Speedway at Armadale come Friday night.
Yeah, and we'll start with the sort of the ambitions for next season. I know we're not quite at the silly season yet, we're stuff, but John Clements has got one the dream team of Sam and Josh back together. I don't know how easy that a challenge will be. Ryan Anderson's talking about Richard Lawson, a real all-rounder, and his motocross background there. And Martin Chung, Poole, ruthless machine. So they won at Scunthorpe, of course, on Friday night. So they are favourites, and I think it would take us winning tomorrow night and at home on Friday for Scunthorpe to progress. So I think it's Scunthorpe Scorpions fans become Monarchs fans for the next few days. But even in their wildest dreams, I'm not sure they're really expecting that.
Yeah, but all the Monarchs can do is go out and give it their best. That'll start tomorrow night. But of course, the season finishes on Friday, 7:30 at Armadale. Get your tickets. Get your stream if you can't make it. Myself and Dave will be there. But I guess kind of final word, Dave, just to thank everyone who's watched tonight and during the season, to thank all the riders. We've never had anyone say no unless they had a very valid reason. We've had guys come on when they're injured to give updates. We've had guys come on that have driven overnight the night before, or have done it for hotels, or have done it for here, there, and everywhere. So a big thank you to all the riders for coming on. A big thank you to everyone that's watched during the season for your comments, your questions. We enjoy doing it, but we wouldn't bother if nobody was watching it. So just a thank you from me, and I'm sure Dave would probably just reiterate that.
Yeah, I can only say the same thanks to everybody that puts their comments up. Obviously, we try to get through as many as possible. Sometimes it's easier than others, but yeah, no, thank you. Without those questions for the riders, we wouldn't be here. But yeah, no, remember to subscribe for the Monarchs and EMTV. There are loads of content out there. We've done a preview show every week this season ahead of matches. It's all there on YouTube to watch back. There's lots of Friday focuses. We're going to try our best to get this one done this Friday. We've had a few technical challenges, but hopefully caught up a little bit tonight. But yeah, no, thanks very much for everybody that's done that. And there's even John. Well, why don't we put up a couple of last comments, which is Kieran's right in there where Graham's tops right.
I didn't even have to text him during some of those videos to give him a reminder.
I don't like patting myself on the back, but we got a couple of comments saying thank you for the shows from Ian and John. Said both do a good job. Thanks, John. Well, hopefully John keep taking the sweeties. And someone else looking forward to Friday is Bastien. He's finally jumped in to see us. Hope you're treating my van well, Bastien. We'll see you on Friday.
Yep, as we say, we'll see Bastien on Friday. Hopefully we'll see everyone watching there as well. But until then, 7:30 Friday night, final match of the season. We'll be there. Hopefully you will too. Thanks as always for watching, and good night.
Thank you very much. See you Friday night.